And well, we carry on with the rest of the show and getting straight into our first interview for today. And my guest right now being an award-winning photographer, and by virtue of him being here, I think I can smell the president's perfume, because he is quite close to the Republican president himself, working as his official photographer. Allow me to welcome Chellah Tukuta. How are you doing?
Hey, I'm good, Chumweka.
I haven't had you on the show in a long time.
Yeah.
Do you remember the last time I hosted you? We were at Cheetah Lodge?
The Cheetah Lodge, yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Way before we even thought you'd
Way
be
before, yes, I remember.
the photographer for the president.
Yeah.
But look at you now, even coming through on the show with a suit. Last time I think you had a snapback or something. Now you're coming with a suit.
I'm wearing a suit, you know. You always have to look the office that you're representing. So so I suppose dynamics change, and I'm no longer moving as Chellah, but I'm moving as Chellah, but there is a title attached to me as presidential photographer. Yeah. So yeah.
What is this experience like, traveling with the president? Obviously, you arrived before him, and you arrived back in Zambia after him. What is this experience like for you?
First things first. You agree with me that I've always traveled. First of all.
Yeah, I hear you've been to 60 countries before your appointment.
As a photographer, right? But then now the difference is that I'm moving with the president, and there's a lot that now you learn, especially that you're moving with the Republican president, and there's less time for me time, for example. You get the point. It's different from when you travel alone. You have time for yourself, but the moment the head of state arrives, it's no longer about you, it's about him. You get the point. It's about him, and you always have to be where he is. Make sure that you document the right footage, the right images, and all those things. And sometimes I laugh when maybe at close of day, then I'm going through social media, and people think that because there's somebody helping me manage the page, right? So people will be thinking, so Chellah is with the president and is posting, and they don't realize that I don't even have time to myself when the president has a program. You understand? So the thing is that it's no longer about Chellah, it's about the president. You understand? So
because it's interesting you said, because at some point people thought, I saw this public outcry saying, the way Chellah is taking time to post all these photos and pose at cars and all these things, he's putting the president's security detail at risk. How did you come across those comments?
But I'm going to ask you a question, Chumweka. How, if you pose on a car, that's the car that everybody poses on when they go to Dubai. It's like you go to Nelson Mandela, Mandela Square, and you pose at is the president sleeping at a mall? Okay. Because
some of the concerns were that because you go before him, and then you're already posting photos.
I just want to ask you this
before
question.
he even arrives.
No, I'm going to ask you this question. When you pose for a photo at a mall or at a car, is the president sleeping in the car? You get the point. Is the president sleeping in the car? No. And I'll tell you what, the thing is that Zambians at times we can be petty. Okay? I take photos in Kabwata. Nobody says a thing. Okay? You take a photo, the president is in Namwala, for example. I take a photo with those the people in Namwala. Or at Inchwala, I take a photo with those people at Inchwala. Nobody's going to talk. The only difference, and I'll tell you the truth, is that when you have people that don't like you, they'll find a fault even when there's no fault. Chumweka, I'll tell you that right now, the moment you're going to go and, for example, do huge interviews, whatever, people will start talking and hating on you. Not that, how can I put it? Not that sometimes people can't embrace change. in someone's life, okay? And the truth is, some of us will just have fun when you're at work, right? Now, I'll give you this example. When you arrive in a country, for example, the head of state is in a different place, okay? You are in a different place, okay? So, you only go for the programs. You get the point. So, if I go and after work, right? After work, I'll give an example. When you knock off from Diamond TV or whatever programs you have, don't you go maybe to eat somewhere? Okay? So when you're eating there, you're putting customers as security at risk.
Oh, customers is not the
no,
president.
I'm just asking.
I get what you're trying
but
to
what
say,
I'm
yeah.
trying to say also is that it's just that at times, as a country, there are better things we can focus on. But let me tell you this. When Chellah was going to prison, people wished that Chellah would rot where? In jail. There are people who never just like you. You get the point? So no matter what happens around you, they will never just like you. And you can't change the fact that some people will not like you.
So there was, because at some point, the rumors going around that Chellah has been banned from doing international travel, but I know you just came back from Rome with the president. So there's no official complaint about what they're calling presidential etiquette.
No, but I'm gonna ask you, and I'm gonna tell you this: the Chumweka. One thing that you need to realize is that a photographer is an artist, right? Is an artist. Now, the difference is that the Zambian presidential photographer is famous. It's very famous. I've got friends, I can show you. Bayo Omoboriowo, presidential photographer for Nigerian president.
Who is in the most followed?
On Instagram.
On Instagram.
Right? Bayo will post, you understand? Nigerians will not start, hey, ba 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 ba. Pete Souza, who was Obama's photographer. Okay? Yobe, Botswana, South African, what. You understand? You will never find there are people, blah, blah, blah. But the thing, like I told you, is that sometimes when a certain group of people don't like the fact that you are progressing, they'll find something to attack you on. You get the point? Now, I'll tell you what. Somebody's there wishing that, oh, Chellah Tukuta gets fired. Right? Because that was the thing for some people. Hey, fired, whatever. Okay. Can you do the job that Chellah is doing? You think it's an easy... Just the fact that, okay, Chellah took a photo on a car or at some place, you understand? You think that it's an easy job. Not... You come in the shoes of Chellah Tukuta and work, because let me make people understand that it's not an easy, and I'm going to tell you my experience as a presidential photographer. When the president goes in a place, like I said, it's no longer about you. The running that is there, because there's the security who are protecting, for example, other heads of state, if it's in a foreign country, right? Your cameras, they are pushing you around and others, and people think it's an easy job. Someone was saying that, Chellah, I was saying, I wish this person could come and take up this job and see. Because when you hear the title, presidential photographer, it sounds so prestige, so nice, like it's so easy. You get the point. Not realizing that you are handling the image of whatever pictures go out there. People are seeing to say, the one who took this. And when you go in places, imagine the president goes to a place. You have no excuse, because the president is not going to pose for you to say, oh, no, it's not a studio. The president is always moving. So the president is always moving, meaning that you have to be on top of your game.
So if obviously you will continue traveling with the president, because you asked, you as photographer. Does this mean you continue taking those photos, your personal photos, if it means at a car, or will you stop because people are complaining about it?
I may continue, I may not continue. It's up to me. But I'm just trying to say, Chumweka, I gave you, before we started the interview, I gave you an example to say the reason why as a country we don't progress is because we focus on things that are not even necessary.
I would like for you to talk more on the issue of the prisons, but we'll get to your experience when we get back on this edition of On the Table. Stick around, we're still with Chellah Tukuta, and we're discussing more on the show. Welcome back, still watching On the Table. My guest is the president's photographer, Chellah Tukuta. And so far, before the break, discussed various issues around this life that he has now and the responsibility he has now. But there's still some things that he's continued. He said not much has changed. And I can attest to that, because the last time I saw you was, I was emceeing a food market, and I saw you there. You're still taking pictures of the events there, and one of the organizers was quite pleased with how fast you were. You shared the photos the same night, because others you have to wait for the following day. Is this also because now you're used to working with the president and you have to be quick?
Yeah, I'm gonna tell you something. People think that because you're working with the president, you no longer have to interact.
I was about to come to that. That was part of my
that you don't have to interact with other people. But I'm going to tell you something, Chumweka. There is life beyond the presidency. Okay? The president at one point would say, you know what? If it's 10 years, if it's whatever, he can decide to say, guys, I've done my part. If Chellah, you people, you the same people, the same audience, the same people will be talking. Hey, no, you don't have to. You are putting the president's security at risk because you're all over the place. No. Let me tell you something. I am one person who believes that a position should never make you grow big-headed. Okay? Because at one point, the same people you abandon, you will need them. That's my belief. I'm not going to be presidential photographer for the rest of my life. There is life after presidential photographer. I have always been a photographer. Before I became presidential photographer, I've been a wedding photographer, events photographer, fashion photographer, and all those things. It doesn't take away that the fact that I'm now the presidential photographer doesn't take away the creative side of me. And it doesn't take away the fact that I can still do fashion photography, I can still do weddings in my free time. Okay? So when time allows and there is nothing that is colliding with the president's programs, I'm free to go.
And speaking of that, because the president's activities can come at any point, and obviously, yes, he does have a presidential diary for the day and whatnot, but you're almost like on call in one way or another. But even when you have bookings for a wedding and whatnot, and people are expecting Chellah Tukuta, it's Chellah Tukuta photography, and they expect you to be there. Yes, you can even designate members of your team, but they expect you to be there. How do you manage to work around that?
If he's going to church and I need to be there, I'll go and cover, right? So let me just give you an example. So, when he's not busy, I will know. I'll ask, for example, from my seniors, because there are people that, there are people who've been in the system, and so I'd ask from the seniors, from those, to say, okay, how is the program like? Then they'll guide and say, you know what, maybe this program can come up or it can't come up. Okay? So then I time and I say, okay, let's see. So when now it's confirmed, because they don't run the president like a cantemba. So whatever programs that have to be there would be confirmed, and then you would know to say, okay, I think this is that Saturday that's going to be busy, or this is a Saturday or a weekend that's going to be less busy. You get the point. I have seen photographers that were presidential photographers before, okay? And I've seen across the continent or whatever, I've seen how they forgot about their brands and all those things.
And focus on the position.
And when that position was no longer there, it's been difficult for them to go back into society, because now you put yourself very high and you never wanted to interact with people, you never wanted to pick anyone's phone calls, you never wanted to reply to anybody's WhatsApp. So you felt like you are so, you get the point. The position got to your head. But for me, I don't want the position to get to my head too much. I want to interact with people. I want to meet with people. I want to, so that if I'm no longer in that position,
they still feel they're in touch with you.
Yes, I'll still go back to the people, and they will not say, but Chellah, when you were a presidential photographer, you forgot about us. How come you come back to us now? Because, no.
But let's talk about your family in this case, because I think we've talked a lot about the president, but let's look at you also as Chellah Tukuta, away from this position. But again, in line with that, how does your family feel about it? As soon as you got that appointment, how do they feel about this new responsibility you've had to undertake?
You know, it's been rough for family as well, because I'm gonna say this: most families, most people think that, okay, when you're working, for example, with the president at State House, then you are maybe human resource or what, and all those things.
They want jobs.
Yeah. So I'm one person who's a believer that I'm not a human resource. I'm a presidential photographer. You get the point? And then two, I'm appointed on the fact that I'm a professional photographer. I qualify as a what? As a photographer. So at times families feel entitled and feel that, oh, now you owe, like you
owe us a job,
you owe us this, you owe us that. No. I also want to put this on record that I've got kids. Okay? I've got kids.
How old is your oldest kid, by the way?
She's 8.
And the youngest?
8. The youngest is 3 months.
3 months, okay. So how many are they in total?
3.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
And the one in the middle?
The one in the middle is 4 years.
4 years, okay.
Yes.
So you've got kids that you have to fend for, and you have to do the best for them.
Yes. And my belief is that as much as we are, we have the problem in Africa, the black tax, okay, where people feel entitled to what you achieve or what you get. But I'm not saying that you don't have to be there for your family when they need you. You have to be there. But the thing that I'm trying to put across is that at times families can be so demanding, and families can put you in awkward situations. You get the point? So sometimes people are trying to please the family. You're trying to, okay, what? No, but for me, I'm one person who believes that I'm never going to abuse the position that I've been entrusted with. So, family, you want me, what is it that you want me to do? If I can manage, I will manage. If I can't manage, I can't manage.
You recently, when people began to know more of you, you used to post about what we believe was your wife then. I think the mother of, I don't know if it's your first 2 children. People used to hear about her, and I think people stopped hearing about her. Are you still in touch with her?
There's kids there.
So you definitely have to be in touch with her.
I have, because there's kids, and I have to support the kids. Look, here's the thing. You don't, because you're no longer with someone, it doesn't mean that you're now enemies. No, there are kids involved. Okay? So when there are kids involved, you have to support the kids. And to support the kids, you have to co-parent. That's the truth. Okay? So I have to respect the fact that, oh, this person is the mother of who? Of my kid. So the respect has to be there. And you cannot brush it away to say, okay, this person is not the mother to these kids. No, they are the mother of those kids. So you have to respect them and respect the fact that, you know what, they are helping me look after these kids. So the least you can do is communicate. Hello, how are the kids? How is everything? Oh, okay, there's no harm. You know, it's when you've reached a point of growth in life, and you know to say, okay, this is the right thing and this is the wrong thing. So what is the right thing to do? Okay, there are kids involved. So if there are kids involved, we respect each other despite people going their separate directions and all those things. The fact that what has to make you to communicate or talk is the fact that there's kids involved.
Do you ever worry that your kids will one day wonder why you're no longer with their mother?
Well, I wouldn't want to really delve into that topic. Yeah, but I think the kids grow, and when they grow, when that time comes, I'm sure we'll cross the bridge when we get there. But it's not a topic that I would want to
yeah, but are you ready for that conversation with him when the time comes? If it had to come soon, even this year, you're ready for it. But Lusaka July, before I met you at that event, that was the last time I met you.
Well, I'm not going to talk about it.
Those
I'm not talking
because that was the public domain. That was the public domain, and last time you're telling us that that's your fiance.
Well,
was that really your fiance?
I'm not going to talk about that. Anyway.
So we'll take it that it wasn't.
Chumweka, when you ask a question, it's either someone can answer or someone cannot answer.
My brother Chellah, absolutely love Chellah. But look, another thing that is interesting about you, since we're still on women, and it's about to be Women's Month in March, there's a character you had on social media, Auntie Cheche. When you look back, do you have any regrets? Do you think, I was just being childish?
No! Let me tell you. And this is a problem in Zambia. People say, oh, being childish. Childish in what way? Or whatever. Look, the thing is that in life, you know that God never gives you one talent. God gives you different talents. And it's you to explore. Okay? And I'll tell you, when I started at church, for me, I was just having fun. And I realized that, the numbers were growing.
Yeah.
Let me tell you that within 3 days, that page had 35,000 followers. So, if that character was boring, do you think that in 3 days you would have created 35,000 followers? I'll tell you this, Chumweka, people will always talk. People will always talk. And the truth is that people always talk about Chellah Tukuta. Even when I was in prison, people were talking. No, Chellah is making noise in prison. Chellah, I was in prison. I was not even on. People were talking. The truth is that there is something about Chellah Tukuta that people really love, and that when they don't talk about Chellah Tukuta, that's why. Sometimes I ask. Sometimes I sit back and say, "Oh, so I'm that brand." Like
that. But look, let's talk about. In fact, you talk about prison. Let's talk about before we conclude with your experience in prison. Let's talk about what led you to getting there. Issues of defamation, and still on your online character. When you look back at what you said at the time that led you to even be in prison, any regrets there?
Any regrets? No. There's no regrets. I was fighting for my country. Let me tell you this. When Jesus called the Pharisees, the teachers of the law, hypocrites, when he called himself the Son of God, they gave him a charge, blasphemy. They gave him all kinds of charges. Okay? Do you understand? Are you listening to that? When he was taken before the teachers of the law, Herod, for questioning Pontius Pilate and all those things, and look, Chumweka, if I say Chumweka, he's a drunkard, and Chumweka all over the place, hey, you called me a drunkard, it means there's something true.
If you can prove it.
No, I'm just saying that there's something true.
Because there could also be something false. Because you're one person who's saying, you're just saying that people talk about you all the time.
Let me give you this example, Chumweka. How many times do people talk about me?
Quite a lot.
Have you ever heard Chellah has taken this person to court?
Probably not as offended about it.
No, I'm just, no, look.
It doesn't damage just
no, look. Not that it doesn't damage me as much. There's people that have talked things, right? But because that's not me, I don't have time to go. And if it's not me, I'm not going to go out there and start saying, hey, blah, blah, blah. It will just show that that's probably me. You get the point? So, I'll give, look, Chumweka, if people say, oh, Chumweka is a Casanova, right? And you yourself, you know, to say, but wait, I'm not what this person is saying, right?
But if people out there are believing what you're saying.
Look, people, let me tell you, Chumweka, the moment you follow what people say or what people think about you, you are lost. Let me tell you, in this life, and this is free advice to you as well, the moment you're going to concentrate on what are people saying about me, what are people thinking about me, what people will think, people can even create something that's not about you. You get the point? But the moment you're going to focus your energy on what people are saying about you, you're never going to achieve anything. Let me tell you that if I, Chellah Tukuta, followed every little thing that people said about me, I would not be a presidential photographer today. I would not be a photographer today, I can tell you. Because success, anything that is good in life, doesn't come without people talking. People will always talk. But what am I trying to say? Let me give you this example. My president, His Excellency, President Hakainde Hichilema, okay? How many people called him Satanist? How many people called him all sorts of names? Did you hear that? Oh no, the president now. How many? There's so many people he could have taken to.
But there's some that he did. There's some that he did. Chilofiatali is an example.
Okay, but was entirely forgiven.
But he was taken. He was taken to court.
It's because it became too much. Also,
so
and then it was not even.
No,
and let me tell you something. It's not even. It was not even. Because look at this. Let me give you this example. After how many years was that guy talking like that about the president? Okay, but I'm just giving you an example of how many people. I'll give you an example of the Madam Nawakwi. Some of the allegations she came up with and all the things that people came up with and all those things. For me, when I look at that man, believe you me, and I'm glad that it's not because people would have said, well, it's because he's president now. But no, I'm glad I journeyed partly with this man.
Okay,
and I've seen. No, I'm just giving you because people talk. Because people always talk. People always say things. Even now, there are people, those people who never believed that he would be president, they are talking even now.
And I know you can also talk on this, but let's get to your experience in prison, because we know that the court still made its ruling, its sentencing.
And let me tell you what, when that ruling was made, okay, now I can talk about it because it's not before the courts of law. But that case, the magistrate or the judge said they did not present the video that alleged. They did not present it in court as evidence. Most of the witnesses and the media in this country can be so, I don't know what's the best way to describe them. when you find that sometimes even people in the media, just because, this Chellah guy, you know. But I'll tell you that every witness that came said, I heard. How do you make a judgment on hearsay? I heard. I was told. Nobody in the media came and really wrote what was going on in there, where people were saying, no, how do you make your money? No, word of mouth. Nobody talked about it. But because you find that if there are people who don't like Chellah, they will always what?
Chellah, let's talk about your prison. Now, let's talk about your prison experience. What was it like in there?
My prison experience was interesting. Was amazing, and I loved that experience because if I'd never been there, I would not appreciate that not everybody who's in prison is a criminal. Because people think that when someone is in prison, they are criminals. There are amazing people in there. There are people who there are certain people who haven't even committed the crimes that they are in there for. And the problem society has is that we always think that prison or people who go in prison are not human beings or are not, they are animals. You understand? According to people's descriptions. But believe me, I'll tell you, when I went into prison, I arrived in the night around 18 when I was taken in my cell 2, Kamala Remand Prison. I slept on the floor whilst sitting, scored it taka. And then this time they killed every 19 hours we watched news, and after the news, before you sleep, there's what they call the cell capitals, there's the cell DO, duty officer, then there's number 1, number 2, whatever. There are those like who've been there for some time, and then so they'll shout, hey, Astui, don't, sir. And then, they start telling you, okay, these are the rules, blah, 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 and da, da, da. But you're crowded, huh? So people are speaking of COVID. The previous regime was talking about COVID, fighting COVID. But in prisons there was no social distancing. You sleep where you're sleeping, where you're seated. There's someone in your laps. There's someone here, and you're all squeezed, and the toilet is just there. Okay? So for me, that experience has made me, do you know that the president bought mattresses and toiletries and everything else for prisoners? Why? Because he's been there.
So is it true that when you heard the UPND won, President Hagan Ejima won, you made noise?
No, I didn't make any noise because there's no space to run in there. It's packed. So how do you run in there? So that's why I'm telling you that people are still making news about Chellah Tukuta even when he was inside there, because people always talk. But I'll tell you that I went in there to give them the message of hope and the message of change. And God took me there.
Chellah, we need to conclude this show. Lastly, it seems like you still have great ambitions for yourself outside the position. What more do you plan on doing as Chellah Tukuta? What's your big goal? I know you've traveled so many countries, even now with the president, and you've been exposed to what people are doing out there. What's your big goal? My big goal is to now do my photography school, the Chellah Tukuta Institute of Photography, which I'd started some time back, but I put it on hold. So to restart it, and also some of the projects that I've had, because I'm gonna focus more on my photography, So as I photograph the president, I'm also having maybe young people. The only challenge I've had is that the young people in this country, when you train them as photographers, you train them, then they go and become big,
and then they start insulting you, they start disrespecting you, forgetting what the problem we have is that there are few. That's why even when you said people want you there, it's not because you don't want to have young ones go there. It's because even the young photographers, when you train them and all those things, and then now the problem we have in this country, and also for young ones, I'm sure even in Chumweka, there are young people who look up to you, and you be like, you know what, let me train you. And when you train them, they feel now they are more than Chumweka. Sometimes you find that, Chumweka is not a good guy, Chumweka is this, Chumweka. That is the problem we have as a people. I want to make photography a career path that even children would say, I want to be a photographer because one day I may be presidential.
Chellah, thank you so much for joining us on the show today. I know you have so much to talk about. I knew there's a lot for us to talk about, but I didn't know there's going to be this much. But thanks a lot for coming through.
All right, welcome to Weka.
Yeah, that's our conversation with Chellah Tukuta. In fact, it's good we don't have another guest coming because it was going to carry on. It was going to be one long episode of On the Table, but that's all we had for you on this edition. Thank you as well for watching the show today. Remember to download the Airtel TV application to watch your favorite Diamond TV shows from there. Follow us on all our social media platforms on Facebook, Diamond TV Zambia, on Twitter, @Diamond TV Zambia, and also look out for the highlights of this show on our YouTube channel, Diamond TV Zambia. My name is Chumweka. Enjoy the rest of your evening and keep watching Diamond TV. Bye-bye.